Hey guys, it's Brad with Brave New Hollywood at the ArcLight Sherman Oaks in beautiful Los Angeles. I'm here with the gorgeous and talented Renée Marino, star of Jersey Boys. Hi Renee, congratulations
Brad.
on everything.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to chat.
Thank you for having me. In a movie theater too, this is perfect.
Exactly. In LA, so out from one fellow Jersey to LA transplant to another. How's life in LA treating you?
It's been amazing. Yeah, I'm just so pleasantly surprised. I mean, I always had an idea that I wanted to come out to LA for a bit, especially career-wise, start the TV film thing, but it was never the right timing until now. And it's just been so wonderful. I love the weather, and there's just something about being able to get in your car, and even, if people stress you out, it's like, whatever, it doesn't matter, because you're driving and you could see the mountains ahead and the sun shining, you're like, it's all good, jamming to your tunes, so I love it. Sure. I really do.
Hard to be upset when the sky's blue.
It is, it totally is. Like on Easter, my fiance and I, we went to brunch, and it was right on the water in Malibu, and then we sat on the beach, and I was like, where am I? This is so weird, I'm not used to this.
What was it like, we'll start with this, to reconnect with John Lloyd Young and perform with him again?
It was really special to reconnect with him because him and I, had the privilege of doing the roles together on Broadway for about 6 months. So that was just so cool to get to set and be like, hey, it's like family, familiar faces. And, to boot, the whole team, Clint Eastwood's whole team is just so wonderful, so down to earth, just the greatest people. I'll never forget getting on set that first day, and I walk on, and Stephen Campanelli, who's his head cameraman, and the rest of the team, they're like, hey, Renee, welcome, and I was like, hey, it just felt like I was home with my family. So it was just such a beautiful atmosphere. And then again, having the familiar faces of my friend John Lloyd Young and Erich Bergen, who's a good friend of mine, Michael Lomenda, it was just, it made it all the better.
Yeah. Did you give John, obviously he did a fantastic job, he doesn't need it, but I know he's not from Jersey, did you give him any tips as a Jersey girl?
He pretty much has it down, man. He's, he won the Tony Award for the role, so, if anyone knows it, he does, even though he's not from New Jersey, and there's something special when you're from New Jersey, but he's pretty fantastic. I'm always in awe of his talent. My older brother Anthony is actually the first one who saw Jersey Boys when it was on Broadway, and I'll never forget, I was touring with Disney's High School Musical, and he called me during intermission, and he's like, Renee, you have to see this show, Jersey Boys. This kid John Lloyd Young's the real deal, and he's right. He's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of knowing someone before you work with them, Clint Eastwood, just such a legend. Were you more nervous about acting or singing for him, or at all, or anything?
Actually, Brad, this was all such a lesson on trust. I got there the first day, and I'm in the shuttle going to set, and I looked up to the heavens, and I was like, here we go. It truly was like jumping off of a cliff, because I had never done a film before. I've never done TV. I've taken some classes, but that's it. And I was like, you know what, Renee? You can do this. Clint Eastwood chose you for this role. You can do this. Because, of course, as an actor, you sometimes get in your head and you're like, oh, but I don't want to be too big, and what about this? And the terminology I don't know too well, but it's like, no, you learn as you go. And I was proud of myself, because I felt like I evolved not just as an actress, but as a person. Just being like, it's okay, settle down, you got this. And then when I met him that first day, it was just, I had to hold back the tears that whole first day filming, because after I had talked to, his team for a little bit when I first got there, I look over 10 minutes later and I'm like, hi, Mr. Eastwood. And he moseys on over and he's like, hey, heard you were on set yesterday, because I went to set just to visit and meet everybody. And he is so genuine and just grounded that you forget you're speaking to a legend. There were several times that whole day that I had to be like, this is Clint Eastwood. This is Clint Eastwood, but you forget, because he's just like you or I. He's just like a regular person. And that to me was the best part of it all.
Now, how did you guys develop? You play Mary Delgado, first wife of Frankie Valli. How did you go about? Did you have to reacquaint yourself with her for film? Was it kind of just tweaking what you were doing on stage? How did you work with her?
Such a great question. Well, the great part is that Mary Delgado, the character herself, didn't change. Mm-hmm. She is who she is, and so that was great. I'm so comfortable with that character. I've played her for many years on and off. But again, translating to film is absolutely different. It's two separate worlds. So for me, it was about retweaking those like wheels in my brain that are like, okay, on this line you do this and you walk stage right and you walk, like all of that I had to be like, okay, let it go, whew, no. So even though it's basically the same scene, it's different. And again, it was like the best class I could have ever taken, you know, like just filming. That is experience that I could not match in any class that I'm going to pay for, because I mean, I was there and just had to do it, and it made me proud because I was like, oh, this is so great. Like I'm using all of these skills that I've, you know, gone to school for and trained for my whole life. So I got on set, and when we filmed the pizza scene, which is when Frankie and I first meet, one of my favorite scenes, that was so hard because, you know, in the Broadway show, it's very like, okay, I know that I pick up my glass on this line and I put my cigarette out on this line. So the first time we did it, it was like, whoo, okay, all right, here we go. And I did it once, and I remember I was like, all right, good. All right, I got this one under my belt. Like, now I'm excited to do it again. And I'm sure you've heard this, Clint Eastwood does not do many takes. And he doesn't really rehearse either. So it was like, okay, we're going to do this, and we're just going to, like, you know, do this for myself. And it was great because after the first time, I just allowed myself to be in the atmosphere. I mean, there's something to be said about being on a set and have all of these other people here with you and be sitting in an actual restaurant, you know, as opposed to just one table and one chair and one glass of wine. It's so nice to go from the stage to the film, especially in my case, because I'm so used to the stage, to have all of these other things to work with and other people. So it kind of naturally just progressed just by having all of these things around me. So I had such a good time filming. I can't wait to do it again. You know, it just made me even more excited for the next experience because I really do. I love it. And, you know, having the camera there, of course, is completely different. I'm used to the audience and, you know, them clapping and everything being live. But this was really nice. It's intimate. It's like, we're just here, me and you. I don't have to project to the back, you know, the back of the house. So I loved it. But it definitely was a transition, you know. It definitely was all about, like, you know, changing the ideas and getting rid of what I'm used to doing.
Yeah.